Hey y'all! Today we making a staple soup that's eaten during the Lenten season, French onion soup. So let's get started. We start by adding some neutral oil into a Dutch oven over medium heat. We're making beef stock, which is traditional for Creole French onion soup. We're going to brown our bone-in beef shank. You can use the cuts of beef and bone you prefer. Shanks are economical. This is a 1-pound shank and it was less than $3. And the bone and marrow provides a rich broth. Once we have our shank brown, we start adding our veggies and seasoning. Clove is also a classic spice added to Creole French onion soup. This is a small onion, halved and studded with roughly 9 whole cloves. It is also tradition to add an odd number of cloves to denote strength during the Lenten season. To the stock pot, we add some bell pepper, some celery, a bit of garlic, some flat parsley, thyme sprigs, and about 7 cups of water because the stock is going to reduce by about 2/3 and intensify in flavor. Add some Creole seasoning. We're using Mrs. Clotilde's certified Creole all-purpose seasoning. Some Himalayan salt. This is pink Himalayan salt. A couple of bay leaves. Some cracked black pepper, which is also a classic spice used in Creole French onion soup. And we're going to simmer uncovered on medium for at least 4 hours. Here we have our reduced broth. We set it aside to cool and we'll strain it before we use it in our soup. Creole French onion soup is typically made with several varieties of onion or oignon, as my Uncle Felix says. Here we have yellow onion, which is the classic onion, a red onion, which has a mild flavor and gives a hint of purple color to the soup, and a shallot, which adds a touch of mild garlic onion flavor. You can cut these onions yourself, but I use a mandolin so that the slices have a uniform thickness and it also cuts down on the tearing. These onions are cut at 2.5 to 3 millimeter thickness, which allows for a great reduction and caramelization. Now, we start our caramelization process by melting some clarified butter, or you can use ghee with a bit of extra virgin olive oil over medium-low to medium heat. Once the butter and oil begins to shimmer, we're going to add 1/3 of our onions to the pot. We add a tiny bit of granulated cane sugar and some Creole seasoning to the batch. We're using Mrs. Clotilde's all-purpose certified Creole seasoning. Caramelizing the onions is a slow process that requires intermittent stirring. This is a total of 2 pounds of onions for 4 people, and it takes a total of about 1 hour and 15 minutes to caramelize appropriately. Now, once this batch has reduced by half, we add the next 1/3 of the batch. We sprinkle with a bit of sugar. This looks like a lot of sugar, but it's only 2 teaspoons total, and Creole seasoning. When this batch reduces, we're going to repeat for the final 1/3 of the onion. As you can see, the onions have greatly reduced, which is what is supposed to happen. You also see that the red onion gives off a purplish hue. This is what you want. So now the work begins. Keep stirring the onions frequently to ensure they are caramelizing evenly and reducing evenly. Don't be scared of the brown bits that happen to stick to the bottom. Remember, onions have sugar and we added a bit of sugar. So this is the caramelization. Just keep stirring. Now this is about 1 hour and 15 minutes later. At this point, we stir in a bit of all-purpose flour and cook for about 3 minutes. We're not trying to make a roux. The flour is to give the soup a smooth texture on your tongue. Next, we deglaze with some cream sherry. Use a brand that you think tastes good. This is what we use. This is not a sponsored video. Let's add the beef stock. I've strained the cool beef stock into a saucepan and I'm reheating. Please do not add cold stock to your onions. Once reheated, I strain a second time directly into the Dutch oven with the caramelized onions to make sure I capture any straggly bits that may have gotten by on the first straining. Stir until combined. Next, some red pepper flakes for heat and any additional flavors you might want to add or adjust for. Cover and allow to simmer for a final 20 minutes. While the soup is simmering, let's cut some French bread into 1/8 inch slices. Lay on a parchment covered cookie tray and dab with a bit of melted salted butter. Bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit until the bread has a golden, crisp top and sides. Then we add our cheese. This is a combination of grated baby Swiss, Parmesan, and Romano. Return to the oven and broil until the cheese is melted. We know there is a such thing as a crock for serving, but we weren't fancy people and our soup was served in a bowl just like we serving today. Add the cheese crouton slices on top of the soup, garnish with a bit of chive, and there you have it, Creole style French onion soup. If you enjoyed this video, please like and consider subscribing. We'd love to have you as a part of our Creole and Cajun cooking community. And remember, when you mix a little bit of Creole with a little bit of Cajun, that's good eating. See y'all next time.